Hi, welcome back to Dallas Sports. If you're new here, my name is Ryan. I thought I would do a Friday Night Live just to have a quick chat about reflection. I think it's important to be able to, you know, talk about what we've done for the last couple of months on this channel and just to share what we intend to do also going forward. And first and foremost, I would like to say thank you to each and everyone who's been following us, who's been asking questions, who liked, subscribed, and been sharing also our content. Um, what we strive for is to hopefully inspire, be inspired, and just to be influencing on this platform people that that are willing to make changes, that are willing to learn, and also willing to share what they know because we don't know everything. Uh, we are certainly searching, constantly looking to improve ourselves as people first. Um, so tonight, I just thought I'll have a chat about just about experiences, um, and just talking about things that I've been learning about coaching, and also share what we've been discussing behind the scenes. Obviously, not too much, but um, as it is only me tonight, for those of you that's joining me, whether it's one or two or five, I hope you're safe and you're sound, and obviously with this scenario that's been going on in the world, that's still going on. We hope that you're keeping well. Um, where I'm at the moment, I the team I'm coaching, we've actually had a match last week Friday, and it was a great success. In terms of uh, I had two teams from the club that I'm working for. We had a proper match. We had people watching the game, and it was just so much fun to see. We've been doing off season, pre-season for the last couple of weeks, and for the players to actually have a game is been brilliant. And hopefully we'll be looking to build on that before the league starts. Um, yeah. So far, we've been sharing a lot of drills, a lot of exercising videos that my brother Sergio has been doing, and he's been taking up challenges. Um, which one of the videos obviously went viral, and it was such a shock, because it can happen, but it happened so quickly. And I think our special guest was Leslie. He did brilliantly, and to be honest, it's a tough workout. They didn't prepare for it. They just go straight into it. So I do feel that just to go straight into a challenge like that, if you don't prepare, it's tough. It can be tough, even if you're a rugby player. I don't like exercise, trust me, but I know when it came to it, I used to go through, put my body through a lot because I knew I had to get to a certain point to perform. You know, so yeah. So the experience was the reflection was that when they were doing it, it feels like it's not doable, but you just keep on going because of what we've learned as rugby players. You end up pushing through or not wanting to give up because in rugby, as we all know, um, the game's been teaching a lot of us a lot of things, good and bad. And what I find is, I use a lot of things that I've learned from rugby in my daily life. You know, one of them, one of them is, when it comes to values, when it comes to being humble, um, just humility goes such a long way, because you're in a team environment. And when you're in a team environment, it's okay to make to obviously know that you can rely on teammates, which is brilliant, because sometimes you might feel alone, but it's always good to know that you've got your teammate, your brother, you know if you're in a team environment, that you can rely on each other on and off the pitch. Especially in what's going on in the world, sometimes people feel alone, but it's okay to know that there's always someone that they can talk to. Therefore, I always encourage relationship meetings. Meet up for coffee, have a chat. Always meet up with someone that you can, have a good conversation, and where you can actually just have an honest conversation too. Whether it's about rugby or just life in general, I generally feel that makes a big difference, as we all deal with certain things, a lot of things really. Um, a lot of people play rugby for different reasons, whether it's just to have fun, whether it's to be fit, to make friends. You make friends for life. In rugby, you end up making a lot of friends that for some reason a lot of them stay with you as you grow as well. I remember guys that I've met when I was 8, 9. I'll still, if I have to bump into them today, we'll still catch up. Hey, you all right? But the people I'm talking about, when I was 9, 8, I've not seen them for a long time. But I'm just making an example. So hopefully, as we go along, for anyone obviously coming across this video, like I said, I thought, oh, come on, we just to share in general to reflect basically what we've been up to. And this last week, yeah, the week before, we had a special guest on, Tomasho, who was sharing his story, and I must admit, it was very powerful in terms of um, what his walk was, what he had to do to be able to achieve his goals. The fact that he trained for 8 years, he could have given up to actually push through and play in the World Cup for Namibia. That in itself was an eye opener, because sometimes you could find yourself in difficult situations and you're doing everything that's required, and still not make it, and then give up, and then you end up not giving up and actually get over the line. But I've also learned in previous experiences where you end up working hard, you're doing everything that's required, and then you do get what you hope for, but it doesn't happen the way you think it was gonna play out. You might not even like it. That's happened to me before. Um, but yeah, I thought I'll touch on past experience, that I would like to share. Now, my other half have been hammering on about, uh, oh, you should share this. You should talk about this at some point, and I thought, okay, let's do it. All the way back in 2002, 2002, 2003, I was somewhere in South Africa, and I was with the Cheetahs, Free State Cheetahs. I was there under 21, under 19, under 21, and so on. But at this point, we were playing trials for South Africa under 21, and I just happened to, my first year in South Africa, I happened to have a really good season at under 19 level. Very, very, very good season. And I ended up being selected in South Africa under 21 elite squad. And I remember we went down to Cape Town for tests. You drive around in a Springbok bus from one venue to the next, staying in the whole week, staying in a hotel down close to Newlands, which is the stadium where Stormers are based. For those of you that do watch rugby, and it was an experience. So it just so happened that there was going to be more tests and then trials later on, and I ended up playing for the Cats under 21, which is like a regional, and to obviously to play to be part of the South African under 21 trials. And then me and my roommate in a hotel, we end up we were flying up to Johannesburg, stayed in a hotel with the team. And there was a few of us from Free State Cheetahs. And the morning of the game, we were scheduled to play a curtain raiser for Cats. At that time there was Cats and obviously Sharks at Ellis Park. We were scheduled to play a curtain raiser, and which was going to be part of our South Africa under 21 trials. I remember this like yesterday. What happened was the morning of the match, we were going to go to the stadium and have a walkthrough, um, just 20 minutes or so, and then come back to the hotel we were staying, and then relax because the match was like something like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the main game, which for the seniors were like 5:15, 7 o'clock, I remember. And anyway, long story short, me and my roommate woke up super early, got all dressed for the walkthrough, kit on and everything, and then we ended up um, going for breakfast. We were me and him, me and my roommate, and one or two other guys were up at that time. I remember it's like 7 o'clock, 7:15. We went down for breakfast and had a bit of food, fruits, as the usual stuff, coffee, and we ended up going back to the room. We knew that 9 o'clock we had to be downstairs, and we were on the second floor. And the hotel I'm talking about is in Johannesburg. It's right next to the airport. It's one of the Holiday Inn uh, hotels, and everything was running smooth. Went back to the room and started watching Super Rugby. So at this point, the teams in New Zealand, the games in New Zealand are normally, when you're in South Africa, the games are normally early in the morning, like at 8 o'clock, 9, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. So Hurricanes, I remember Hurricanes and Chiefs were playing, and I was lying on my bed, he's lying on his bed, we're watching the game. And I'm not joking you. Felt like it felt like I just blinked, right? And I dozed off. Just realized, whoa, let me see what time it is. And like I said, this was 2 minutes to 9. Jumped up, looked at the window, saw the team bus. Said to my roommate, "Yeah, we've got to go," because he fell asleep, and I just dozed off. Anyway, I grabbed my boots. He grabs his boots. We didn't even take the lift. We ran downstairs because we were only on the second floor. Ran downstairs quickly. As we come downstairs, approaching the bus starts setting off. And we're like, we're running and we're banging on the bus and we're thinking, oh, they're probably playing a trick or something, right? And the bus is leaving. And the bus kept on going. And we're like, hold up, this is no joke. And then some of the guys saw us as well. They actually left. And I was like, I just knew right there and then, and I'm not making this up. I just knew right there and then that that was the worst feeling ever. I literally uh, you know, felt sick in my stomach. I thought, this does not feel good. That should not have happened. I mean, this is South Africa under 21 trials. You think about that for a second. Everyone that goes through age grade, if you play like at that time back in when I was in South Africa, You play under 19, under 21. If you're 20, you can play 2 years. Even 19, you can play 2 or 3 years under 21. Back then, it was a lot more difficult to break into senior teams than now. Now there's a lot more franchises, there's a lot more exposure. If I look back, if I see games like the Varsity Cup and all that, it's completely the exposure the young guys are getting nowadays is way better, way better. But when I was there, it was extremely difficult just to get your foot in the door. So all those things are going through my head, and I'm like, I left Namibia for opportunity like this. Um, South Africa under 21. I'm like, I'm in shock. I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? I'm standing there in front of the hotel. Imagine this: rugby shorts on, rugby socks on, right? Flip flops, Adidas flip flops, full kit, boots in hand. I'm looking at my roommate. I'm like, what the hell just happened? He's like, I don't care. I'll just go back to sleep. It was like, are you kidding me? And he actually went back. He didn't care. And maybe I should have had that attitude, but I felt so guilty, and I felt shook up. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna. I remember in front of the hotel. Not to make a long story short, but if you just follow me, on the side of the hotel there was a patch of grass, and I ended up putting my boots on and running up and down and do some activation and dynamic stretches and just keep on playing over in my mind how I missed the bus. I knew literally I just missed the bus of becoming a Springbok. See, at that time I was playing fullback, wing, um, center. I was like mostly I was playing on the wing. Right, that's why I was there for. But I always knew I wanted to play scrum half. But yeah, I just knew in the back of my mind, you've just missed the bus by 2 minutes. Not even. I was actually when we came out, and by the time we were bang on the bus, it was right on 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. But I always say when I looked down from the window, it was 2 minutes, 3 minutes to 9, and I literally missed the bus. So I ended up going back to the room. Just I didn't know what to think, what to do. Uh, I literally missed the bus. You know, uh, not just there that day, but I actually missed it in the whole. Who knows if I ended up not happening. I ended up going through, getting selected, um, play for South Africa under 21. Um, you know, end up who knows, Super Rugby. Um, who knows? Who knows? But like I said, it's it's things like that have made me the person I think who I am. If that didn't happen, and like I said, I don't want to be saying what if, but I probably would have ended up being in South Africa. Staying in South Africa. If I became a junior Springbok, played senior rugby, who knows what could have happened? End up playing at a high level in South Africa, and I probably wouldn't have come to England. And if I've not come to England, I would have not met my wife, which means I wouldn't have the family that I've got now. So I'm just going through some messages here. How do you feel knowing most of the current squad that you could have played with? Yeah. So here's a funny thing though. This was 2002, right? 2001, 2002. Um, that squad ended up playing because the World Cup was in South Africa. The squad ended up playing obviously in South Africa, the under 21, and ended up winning the World Cup. That under 21 team, and the majority of those guys ended up winning the Senior World Cup 2007. And I was part of that elite squad back in 2000 and the end of 2001 and 2002. I was part of the elite squad, the wider squad. But yeah, I was just, these things happen. But phew, when it happens like that, there's no joke. There's no joke. And I'm sure there's so many guys out there that can share their story, of how something happened to them that leads to something else and so on. Another question: if you then, Mr. Bus, would you have liked to play for the Springboks? Um, to be honest, I always, since I think I was 8 years old, South Africa ended up playing for the first time outside of South Africa. Because of apartheid, they were allowed to play test matches outside of South Africa. I think this was like 92 or something. They ended up playing in England. Mind you, I've never seen England. They're showing this on TV, right? And I'm like I said, I was only young. And what what was memorable for me was at that time Twickenham. I remember, and you wouldn't believe me, but I still have the same rugby tape at my parents' house till this day of that match. And the grass was so green, and they were singing, and it was just something else. I was like, "Wow, where's what?" And then here's another thing. I saw players of color playing for England, and I was like, and it was okay, you know. It was all good. It was nothing to do with the color, but it was just different. White jerseys, and they're full of mud, and I love stuff like that. I used to like get stuck in, when it comes to playing. My white shorts had to have a bit of green marks on it, of the grass and stuff like that. That's what attracted me. So right then I decided, you know what, I want to go to England, and I became an England fan secretly. But long story short, I was asked, would you would have liked to play for the Springboks? To be honest, I never thought of I want to play for the Springboks. Obviously, you've got to go through the right channels. You get the opportunity. It's also who you know, to be honest. But if you are good enough, then you'll probably make it if you work hard enough. I certainly would like to think that I was in the right environments, to be able to, just persevere and keep working hard and keep learning. I was so impatient when I was younger, absolutely so impatient, just frustrated, and it was just hard. Everything was just hard. And if I look back now, if I had to do it over, my mindset definitely would. My approach would be a lot different. Nina's asking, do you have any rugby regrets? Do I have any rugby regrets? I would say every time I played, right? Every time I played, I kept on reminding myself, you're doing this because you want you're having fun. But to be brutally honest, I only really enjoyed myself the last couple of years before I stopped playing. Really enjoyed myself. I'm talking about like what it felt like when I used to be a kid, playing with my friends on a park bare feet in Namibia, just playing and making up our own rules, and that same feeling. I was always after that feeling. My biggest regret is that I never, at some point, I ended up losing that, and I started believing what people told me of me. You start hearing things, and you start believing that. And guess what? You start becoming what you hear. That's my biggest regret. I should have never listened. I should have always listened to what I was feeling. Like when I was younger, I was fearless. And that's what made me, take up the game more seriously. Um, okay, another question. Why do you want to play in England? Oh, why do I want to play in England? Yeah, people think I'm off my head, but uh, I wanted to play in England because of the the weather. I love the weather. Just because so that it always rains, it's cold, and when you score a try, you slide. When you tackle, you keep sliding, and the pitches are muddy and it's wet. I love that. I used to when I not to bounce around, but I ended up where we were living. I ended up wetting the yard just to get stuck in the mud. My the friends of my parents used to say, "This guy is absolutely crazy. He's probably going to grow out of it one day." But you know, I've always played rugby. I've always been involved with rugby. Here I am in England or on Isle of Man coaching, and I always said, that's what I would do. At school, when you had to write essays and stuff, guess what my essays was about? There you go, rugby. To a point where one of the teachers, took my essay, boom, out of the door. Always rugby, rugby. Rugby will never be your bread and butter. Well, that same teacher, always, I'm not going to name names or to badmouth anyone. That same teacher ended up seeing me one day after playing in South Africa in the Currie Cup for Pumas. And and I remember me and Sergio were together at the mall, and she was with I think with a grandchild, and uh, she was so overwhelmed when she saw me because she's not seen me for a long time, and suddenly she saw me there. She just wanted to say how proud she is of seeing my name on TV, and you know just having a general chat. It was stuff like that used me to as a motivation to push on, not to listen to what people say. In terms of the naysayers, the biggest regret that I can say is that for too long I've listened to too many people, the wrong voices. And for anyone out there listening to me, I'm not saying for you not to listen, but it's your choice. But I'm saying listen to you, what you feel, all right? That gut feeling. Never ever let someone put a finger in your face and tell you you're not good enough. I eventually, I've got more questions here. Sorry. So, Rufus, your dad told me the story of you playing as a young boy in Free State for Cheetah junior teams. Yes, yes. Yeah, what an experience. Obviously, it was hard. It was hard, but part of me playing there has made me grow. I grew up quickly in terms of rugby. I learned a lot. I was in the hands of some unbelievable coaches. Um, Not to name drop, but I I ended up playing, like for in the Vodacom Cheetahs. I ended up playing 2 games under Rassie Erasmus, and it gave me my debut. I was only 20 years old, and it was just out of the blue, um, which I will always be thankful for it. But it was also the way it happened was completely just I never expected it, and what I learned, you know, being in an environment like that, I've always ended up utilizing a lot of things, especially in my coaching now. So yeah, it was good. It was good, Rufus. Also, I want to say to everyone who's on, if you have any questions or like keep firing away. I'll just keep talking. Um, Sheradine, she's saying, Shalom, Ryan, nice listening. Awesome stuff. Says, I hope you guys all right. I thought, yeah, I'd just come and it's not always have to be so serious, just, oh, we're doing this. And just thought I can come and share a bit and just talk away. So, yeah, coming back to one of the regrets, I would say, is when I rewind or reflect back, is just to be more mindful. How I treated opportunities back then was sometimes not. I wasn't in the right space, because you end up like Rufus was saying, oh, you end up playing in Free State. You start making a name for yourself in a Bloemfontein. You start hanging out with people, and people just want to hang around with you. And the less the 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 stuff you get up to, it was crazy. Because like it's fun, but somewhere along the line you've got to make a decision. What is it that you really want to do? But I always had in the back of my mind, I want to go to England. You know, really want to go to England. So I ended up coming to England, and I think since coming to England, I really embraced it. My mindset was different. I really embraced it, and I really had fun, so much fun, honestly. And I ended up playing for one of probably the best coaches for me personally. Um, Based on how his mannerisms and his approach, something that I've always longed in a coach, just to how he can deal with me. I always had it in my mind, if I could just get to a place where a coach could just let me be, you know. And I ended up getting it. Last couple of years of my rugby career, um, it was just amazing, absolutely amazing, because of the type of rugby we were playing. Um, and it was player led, and it, I've learned so much. I've learned so much, and I'm still learning. And just a tip for anyone who wants to coach or who's coaching, we all know, we always say never stop learning. But if you really look at it, what does that mean? Never stop learning. Here's the thing: never stop doing research. Okay, sometimes we find something out and we sit on it. If you find something out, share it. Share it. Why? Because it will help you to keep pushing on and not think that you've arrived. What you did yesterday would work. It's not going to work today. You've got to find something new. So that's why I'm saying always keep researching, always keep learning. Um, I've part of me coming on and talking. Okay, this is also part of my development. Uh, I've learned also when I did a level three, the RFU level three. It's good to record yourself, because you don't know what you sound like. When you're coaching, if you have sessions, record your sessions so that you can hear, what do you sound like? What does the players, okay, when you're speaking and delivering and coaching and teaching and asking questions, what do you sound like to the players? That's important, because once you get to know that, I find myself using, does that make sense? After I'm coaching, I'm just asking a question, or I'm saying this, or I'm saying that, does that make sense? And that only came from recording the sessions. And I thought, wow, I'm really going to have to improve my language, the way I address the players, the way I want to explain, or give a message. Um, just improve that, because I've also found questioning is so powerful. When you're coaching, you're not really. I found also, you don't if you want to let the person figure it out, and self discovery, and be creative. You can't spoon feed them. You just gotta let them go, but also ask them questions. But like, what would you do in a different scenario? Why did that not work? Would you do that again? Stuff like that. It makes them think. Yeah, maybe there is another way, because there's so many different approaches, even in life. With everything going on out there, what would you do if there's a next, a next wave, so they say, how would I deal with it? What would my approach be? Stuff like that. It's something to think about, and it's also good to talk about it. A lot of people don't have someone to talk about. Here's the key thing: get someone who knows more than you, that you can check in. Okay, whether it's about the weather, they know more about the weather. They know more. Okay, more than you about the weather, for instance. So when you speak to them and you on that topic, then you're gonna learn something, and that's what it's about. You know. So it's important to reflection and action. And your plan. What's your plan as a rugby player, as a coach? What's your plan? Okay, I always ask young rugby players, um, if they say, "Oh, I want to play at whatever level." My question is, "What's your plan?" Okay, write it down. Write it down, because that's how you can keep track of what you're doing. Okay, otherwise, write it down. Otherwise, you're gonna find yourself doing stuff, and you're gonna end up exhausting it. Now, am I saying this is just for rugby players? No, I'm saying in everyday's life, I don't get it right. I'm still struggling with a lot of things, and that's just me being honest, because I'm still learning and I'm still trying to find out what it is that I need to do and how I'm going to do it. Why am I doing it? Most important thing, a few rules that I remind myself to live by. Um, to make the best of life itself, right? Number one thing is stay connected. Embrace what you've got. Okay, family. I'm a family man. Is most important for me. Okay, because they keep me grounded. All right, they keep me grounded. They always, when I used to play, my wife followed me all over. Chill TV, what's up, man? Okay, thanks for joining us. Good day to you as well. But yeah, I was saying, make sure you stay connected with your family. People come and go, but your family is your family. Okay, when I used to play, Simone used to follow me all over the games, and I would be there, feeling all wow, we had an awesome game, and she'll just be honest, and yeah, you had a good game, but and I'm like, oh, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Same like my dad. I could never understand when I was growing up, playing for Windhoek High School. Um, you would think, wow, we had people come to you, oh, you had a great game, and you did this and you did that, and it's all good. Chat with my dad, nothing like that. It's just questioning. Why did you, in the 10th minute you were doing this and doing that? What happened there? Like, what was your thoughts? I'm like, well, I was doing it because I thought this one was out of position or whatever the case may be. Would you do that next time? Maybe not. Why not? Because I don't think it worked well. Or maybe I would try it out. Stuff like that, because it kept me grounded, kept me hungry. So that's the key. Stay connected. When you connect, it's the most powerful thing. And we all struggle with it. You're not always going to get it. I struggle with it with my children. And I can honestly say, like, when I do get it, it's the most amazing feeling, But we're all over the place because we all have busy lives. We work takes over. And then suddenly, whatever patterns, what you think you had is gone. So then you need to reset. You need to keep coming back. I did a mindful course a few years ago. At first, I thought, "What is this? Why am I doing this?" But to be honest, I utilize those skills every single day. But the way it starts off is like, a raisin or chocolate. You sit there, you chew it, and you take your time to see what does it feel like when you're chewing. What is happening when you tasting it? what are you hearing? What are you seeing? It's stuff like that. So that's really helping with my coaching, because I can help players tap into that and actually concentrate better. But it's also something that needs to, you need to keep running with it. But yeah, coming back to a few rules that I think that I live by, or that I remind myself, is to also love. I've just written it here. Live in the moment. Why? Because how can I be sitting here and thinking about something else? So why? How is that everyone is struggling with it? At some point, we always get to the point where we can't enjoy ourselves being in the moment. How many of you, how many of you on a daily basis catch yourself? Why am I not in the moment? I'm sitting here with my family, but why is my mind over there? Why are we struggling with it? If any one of you have been experiencing that, let us know. Let us know how do you deal with it on a daily basis. Um, to practice to be in the moment um, is also a skill. I think it's something that you constantly need to develop and practice. The next one is build around your family, friends, and stay confident. It's confidence. I always used to think, how is it possible that he's so confident or she's so confident? It just looks natural. It's something you've got to develop. It will be taken away from you if you start believing the voices. Trust me, you will believe what you hear. There's a saying in the scripture that says, as a man thinketh, so shall he be. So if you think that you're weak, guess what? That's what you'll be. But if you think that you're strong and you're confident, then that's what you'll be. That's exactly what you'll get. Another one is, I always say, what you see is what you get. My wife will know. People that where I'm from, they, they always go, what you see is what you get. And it's exactly like what I'm saying. It is. All right. Another one is to be disciplined. We all know if you don't have discipline, it's easy to do things that seem right, but then you can fall by the wayside by working extremely hard and then fall off. And then you've got to start again. It's just developing those good habits, discipline. Please share your thoughts on if you've got any ideas, or how do you deal with having discipline. Like Sergio, for instance, he I remember growing up, because he was the youngest. Not to talk about him, no, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind. He would always want to beat me and Daryl at everything we wanted to do. No, he wants to do it better, and I think that really helped. Um, that really helped him developing that consistency, having the drive to be disciplined. And now it seems like it's just a natural thing. But I really feel like things never came easy. Even if it did come easy, he'll still just be consistent. Consistency with discipline goes hand in hand. So develop that, definitely, I would say. Then, if you are not passionate on what you're doing, then why are you doing it? Why are you not passionate? I'll tell you why. This is what I've also realized. If you are passionate about something and you tell everyone, you'll find that the ones that genuinely care, they'll be happy for you. They probably won't even say anything. They'll just, they wouldn't say what you want to hear, but you can sense that there's some type of agreement and that they're happy for you. But the ones who you think are your friends, they are the ones who, if you say, I've done this, and they'll also say, yeah, I've also done that. We all do it. That doesn't mean that you're not happy, but I'm just saying there's a lot of dream killers out there. People that really feel left behind if you're doing something. Here's something that I can also share on that is, do it in secret. Whatever you feel you need to do it in secret. You will be rewarded openly, and it's happened with me a lot of times. But I've also fallen into the trap where I get so excited. I was tell everyone, "Oh my word, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that," and then I end up not doing it. or I do it, but then I fall away because the brain is probably recorded. Like we always talk, me and Simone, we always talk about the brain is registering. You are replicating that feeling of you've achieved it because you're talking about it, but you've not done it yet. Okay, so develop consistency, discipline. Okay, do it in secret. If you've got a plan, do it in secret and just do it. This Dallas Sports Channel, we've been talking about it for probably 3 years ago in secret. 3 years ago. What are we doing right now? We're live. We're live. We've talked about it way back, but now we're live and we've got people here. They're watching us. I'm spitballing with you right now, and I'm sharing you a bit of my story, and hopefully you find there's one or two things that you can take away from it, and you can actually implement it in your life. Um, energy, energy is so important. Here's the thing: we all are so powerful as people. If you walk into a room, you can change that environment for the positive or the negative. Okay, so always be mindful of your energy. And my wife reminds me that a lot. She always like, oh, you can affect this whole house. If you drive in from the gate, I can feel, I can feel you. Oh, there's something going on. So energy. Keep working on your energy as well. Okay. Another thing would be um your how can I say this? Experiences. Don't underestimate the experiences, what you've picked up along the way, where you found yourself. I should have never done this, or I should have never. Everything happens for a reason. Okay, everything happens for a reason, and the experiences is what helps you be better than the day before. Be better tomorrow. So whatever you think today and do today that's what you're gonna be tomorrow. So if you're negative tomorrow, that's what you were thinking now. So practice being positive. Okay, it's easy to say, but it's a skill. You've got to surround yourself also um, with good people that will constantly feed back to you and you feed back to them positively. Um, and that's why me and Sergio, my brother, we always get into trouble with our wives. We when we're on the phone, um, we end up talking an hour, 2 hours, and it will feel like 5 minutes because we constantly sharing and feeding back and being honest conversations. You'll be telling me, no, I don't think, honestly, no, I don't think this would work, or I think that's a great idea. Honesty is key. You can't be surrounded by people always that will just say, yeah, 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 or, they're not really being honest, because then, what's the point? How are you going to improve? How are you going to help each other to improve? Passion. Are you passionate? What are you passionate about? I'm passionate about people. I love people, and I mean that. For me, people, we underestimate how we as people, how powerful we as people are, and we're not reaching our full potential as people. But it starts with love, and when I say love, I'm not talking about, oh, I love you. I'm talking about it's your doings. Do, not just say. Practice doing. Practice if you're in an environment. How much do you love the people in that environment? Don't say it. Show it. Whatever it is. Okay? If you're in an environment, team environment, you clean up the changing rooms afterwards, hang up the jerseys, whatever. That's showing that you love the environment. You love the people. That's just an example. Obviously, I'm just making an example. You gotta realize your dreams. Once you know what it is, go for it. One more thing. I wanted to play Twickenham. First time I saw South African England, I was 8, like I said. Ever since, I'm gonna play for England. I'm gonna go to England. I'm gonna play for England. I'm gonna play Twickenham. People laughed at me. You are absolutely out of your mind. I grew up in the desert, or I was born in Walvis Bay. How can someone in that time, in the 80s, a child talk about he's gonna go to England? Hmm? Play at Twickenham. Are you kidding me? Well, I played at Twickenham 7 times. For Lancashire, played for Sale Sharks in the Middlesex Sevens. Big crowd, because something reminded me, never give up. Okay, never give up. I don't care what people want to say about me or what they want to do, because that's just their opinion, and that's what I've learned. Okay, even now I'm dealing with people that man, it's part of my development. It's all good. I embrace them. That people are not always going to agree. You're not always going to agree, but you've got to find common ground to make it work. Okay, so I'm on my journey, and people are on their journeys, and that's one thing that we've also got to respect. But I can only say, I hope everyone who comes across this video, I didn't want to just come on and just chit chat. I thought I'll share and 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 also drop one or two things that you could reflect on and think, you know what? I think that's a really good point. I might think about that. Also, try to pick up new hobbies. Try to do something that you wouldn't have thought that you would do. You might be really good at it. I used to. I thought, I'll pick up a new hobby. I'll start learning how to make food. I ended up burning the water. But I think I'm a good chef now, so my wife can agree. Yeah, but with that, I would I would like to say, hey, we've got some exciting things coming your way. We've got hopefully a few surprises, a few rugby players that we're going to be interviewing, not interview, but we're going to invite them on the platform. We're going to also share the highlights. Please like it as usual, subscribe, share the information, and just keep having fun. Thank you for following us. And if you have any questions, if we don't get back to you, I apologize in advance. But if we do come across it, we will address it and respond as soon as we can. But with that, I hope you rest up the Saturday that we're in. Please please rest up and have a fantastic time with just being in the moment and enjoy the company where you're at, with your family. Embrace each other and just look after yourselves. But with that, I'm going to say stay safe and watch out for more. There's a lot more coming your way on Della Sports. See you next time.